Hey,
Hello.
what's up?
How you doing, man?
Good, how are you doing?
Doing pretty well. Doing pretty well.
I like the background. It looks like you're in a sauna or something.
Yeah, it's just my old house.
I like it. No, it feels very similar to here in
Yeah,
Finland a
I'm in
little bit.
like my room is in the attic of the house, so I got my own little space. It's kind of nice.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
There you go. I like that. Attic
yeah,
living.
yeah. It's not too bad.
You got any bats up there?
Not yet. Knock on.
Or?
Hopefully not.
Gosh,
Hopefully not.
I remember we had like a mouse crazy, like 60 of them or something, got into our house and had babies.
Really?
And I don't know how they got in, but then they got into the attic, and our cat just started going crazy, like trying to get at the door, and we were like,
Yeah.
"What's going on?" And then we finally found him, and it was like we put up traps, and we had competitions every day to see who could catch the most. It was ridiculous.
See, that's the issue we have right now is mice downstairs. So hopefully they don't come up here. So yeah, gotta love it, you know? Always something
Yeah,
new every day.
it's always something.
Yeah.
That's a little different than probably the rest of our conversation, but still a struggle that you had to go through.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, guys, welcome back to another Footy and Coffee Conversations. You got coffee today.
Sure do. Every day.
What coffee are you going for?
I got a Colombian something or other. Got to put a little cream in there and I'm good to go.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
Colombian.
Yeah.
What flavored cream or just regular?
I can't go regular. I go French vanilla.
Oh, okay,
A little bit
okay.
of that, you know?
That's like a little extra, but not too much.
No, it's always extra, but
And drinking out of a Yeti?
a Fetty.
Oh,
Yeah.
fatty. Oh, okay. That's probably smarter. A lot
Yeah,
cheaper and
we're
does
working
the
our way
same
up to a
thing.
Yeti.
All right. If you want to just introduce yourself, say what club you're playing for and position, and we'll jump into this.
All right. My name is Mike Novotny, goalkeeper for Hartford Athletic. I play in the USL in Connecticut on the East Coast.
Awesome. Yeah. USL. When are you guys back to doing a little bit now, or what's kind of the situation?
We're still playing the waiting game. So we right now for the past however many weeks it's been, a couple months, we've been doing online workouts with our strength coach every day, and just kind of doing our own thing and trying to get out the pitches before getting kicked off. Um, yeah, it's been a pretty hectic time, but a lot of it they're just trying to keep us busy with workouts, runs, long distance, whether it's short distance like sprints and stuff like that, or just video analysis on teams we're playing. So I mean, a little different every day, just stuff to try and keep us sane during this time while we're away from soccer. But yeah, it's been going. So hopefully soon we'll find out from the league whether what's going to happen. But as of now, we're waiting for the Connecticut government, the state government, to see to open back up the state. So then hopefully we can go into smaller groups and start training again. So we won't go right back into it, of course, but hopefully we can get in the smaller groups soon.
Yeah. Hope so. Yeah, we started this past Wednesday training in smaller groups again with still like distance between
How's that
players.
going?
But
Good?
yeah, I mean it's hard to tell a player not to tackle the guy, as he's
Yeah, yeah.
passing around
No
you. But
contact, of course. That's weird.
it's better than, as you said, the individual sessions and all. So
Yeah.
I think I can handle a couple weeks before there's mutiny on board.
Yeah,
Uh,
sweet.
Reed is advising you to shave the mustache. I think
No,
he's a hater.
I got to keep it right now.
Are
This is the
you?
first time people are seeing me on camera, so I gotta grow it out a little bit, you know?
What's the plan with it? We've interviewed like 5 people have had mustaches. I don't know what's going on.
Well, my mustache can grow in, but my beard, like as soon as it like is any bit longer than this, you really start to see the patchiness. So I gotta keep the beard low, but yeah, mustache we're gonna try and grow out and see what happens. So
I like it. I support it. I always support it.
Yeah.
So if you just want to tell us a little bit about where you grew up, what your youth career kind of looked like, that type of thing.
Yeah, so I grew up Chicagoland area. Grew up in St. Charles, Illinois. I played for a small club pretty much my whole youth career. I played for Strikers Fox Valley.
Shout out
Kind
to
of,
Fox Valley.
yeah,
Fox Valley Mall, let's go.
had to, yeah. But yeah, so it started off. I think I started there when I was U9 or U10. Obviously started playing started to like goalkeeper before then, the position, but that's when I started to get into travel soccer. Um, First couple of years I played with my age group up until like U13, I think, and then I after U13 I moved up a year and started training with and playing with those guys, just to try and test myself a little bit more. I played with them a couple of years, and as soon as um, they went to college, actually, so um, would be my junior or going to be my senior year coming up next. I went into and I went over to the rival. I went to Campton United. So yeah, it was a big stir up at the time, but yeah, I had to do it just to kind of keep my career going. I never took the academy route, which is what a lot of people did. But I had a weird route to get to where I am right now, and I don't know, I made some great friends, had some great coaches along the way. So one of my goalie coach actually from Strikers is actually like my second dad. So I mean, he's coached me since I was 4 or 5 years old. Like the day I found out I wanted to be a goalkeeper, my brother was actually my other brother is 2 years older than me, and he was at a goalkeeper training session, and I was just off to the side playing with the ball, and then it was like a diving day or something like that, and obviously that's the best day to be a goalkeeper.
Obviously.
But he asked if I wanted to join in, and to this day, like I knew I just fell in love with the position. I knew I couldn't play any other position. Um, but yeah, I mean, since that day, up until college, he was training me, and then um, even when I came back from college, obviously I trained with Bridges all the time, but I also did extra sessions with him just to kind of try and stay sharp, you know. So I mean, it was a weird route, but I enjoyed it, and it definitely made me stronger. I think for um, kind of the future when I got a lot of no's and stuff like that. It's just like my mentality was be the hardest worker on the pitch no matter what. Like the kind of like that blue collar attitude you kind of have to have. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
and that's something too. Part of the show is for younger players to show that there's not one perfect route on how to make it to professional soccer.
exactly.
Every single player that we've interviewed has had a completely different story. Some have gone to academy, some haven't, and there's no right or wrong. I mean, there's how many players that play academy and burn out and end up never making it. So it's not like, oh, you have to go to academy to continue pursuing.
Mm-hmm. And at that point, like academies, I mean, there are lots of teams that would have, or age groups, they would have over 130 kids for 3, 4, like maybe 3 teams. And it's just like, I got my games in when I was at Strikers. I got my games in at Campton. I grew from them, and I loved it.
And as a goalie, maybe you're playing with worse defenders in front of you. You're seeing more action.
Exactly. We had some good guys though, to be fair though. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely fun though, being at those clubs. Yeah.
And then you did, was it 4 years of the ODP state and 2 of the region?
Yeah. So when I started ODP, I think right around maybe 13 or 14, when I was 13 or 14, and I went through the whole system every time, and I remember the first the first state camp we had was at NIU, Northern Illinois University. And it was the first time I ever was spent the night away from my house. I never had a
Oh,
sleepover
wow.
before. My dad wouldn't let me. So the first this is embarrassing, but the first camp I went to, I actually went home 2 days later because I was homesick, and I was sick to my stomach, and I was just missing home. But after those, I mean, uh, I think I did it up until my senior year, and my last 2 years for ODP is when I think was when I was most successful with the Olympic development program. I think I made the region team both times, and the first time we went to Hoover, Alabama, and played the region tournament there. And our team was unreal. Like looking back at it, and like looking at all, like the whole team was very, 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 very good Division I ball players,
Oh,
and a lot of them went on to the professional levels as well. Some of them are in the USL right now. One I know just said, "Screw it, I'm not going to college. I'm going to go play for Reading." Signed a contract with Reading, and now
not
he's playing
bad.
in the Eredivisie, and he's actually gotten some national team caps. It's Andrea Novakovic.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I mean, yeah, it was a very good team, and my senior year we went to I think it was Florida, so that was obviously a nice trip. I couldn't complain much about that one, but yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the ODP side, and I really got to have some nice connections with some players, and still talk to a lot of them today. So I mean, it was a cool thing. I don't think it's as big now as it was, but now that we have all the DAs and well, not anymore, but
Yeah, maybe ODP will come
maybe it
back
might
as
pop back up. But
the big thing to do.
yeah, but it was a big thing back then. If you made the state team and then like the region pool, and then you made the region team, it was a fun thing every summer to do. So yeah, I enjoyed it, and kind of got me exposed a little bit for college as well. Because I mean, when we were in um, Alabama, there'd be about 70 coaches lined up on the sideline, and it was I've never seen something like that before.
Talk about how you ended up at Eastern Illinois. What was that process like? How'd you get recruited there?
So actually, my state coach, I think it was my state coach for ODP, my junior year, was the head coach at the time for Eastern Illinois University. It was Adam Howarth, and um, he was I really liked him as a coach, and he right as soon as that camp was done, he's like, "Hey, we want you to come to Eastern." So I stayed in contact with them, and right before, I mean, they were one of the few schools that stuck around the whole time, because obviously you're going to have those schools that will want you one day, and then the next day they're like, "Oh, who are you?" Like, I don't know who you are anymore. So it was weird, like going through the whole process. But they were one of the schools that stuck around, were very friendly, and like always like checked up to see how I was doing in games and stuff like that. And then that truly goes a long way, I think. So when you feel like home when you're at school, like that's the best feeling. So I'm glad I went there, and obviously another weird route to where I am now as being a small Division 1. But I enjoyed my time there. It was really fun. Yeah, it was. But it all started with that one state team. Like when I played well that one camp, and it kind of blew up from there. And then that was my final choice. Yeah.
Yeah. So then we'll talk more about, it, but during your 4 years, you start almost every game. I think there's one your freshman year you didn't, but after that, I think you had 65 games started throughout your career. You finished first team All Summit senior year, second team All Summit, I think, junior and sophomore year, and have top three, or you have, I think, top one in minutes played, games played, and top three in saves, total saves. So obviously a lot of success there. I found it interesting. The lowest your goals against average was sophomore year. I think it was about 2.8.
It was
And
bad,
then
yeah.
yeah, and then but then by junior year it had gone down to like 1.8, I believe, and by senior year down to 0.95. So I think that's also obviously there's other factors that tell how many saves and all, but your senior year you have the most saves and you have the lowest goals against. So obviously a lot of growth and development for you during those 4 years. What was to you kind of the biggest factor of development in those 4 years?
I think the biggest factor was every year I got a lot of shots. Being a smaller team, we never really put things together in terms of wins. I think the most I ever had during college was I think five wins in a season. So like my freshman year, we went. Um, I think we only had 2 wins. So I mean, it was definitely a
Long
change of
season.
pace from what I was worried about. Yeah, but yeah. So my freshman year, I came in, and obviously they always look for seniority in the first couple of games, I guess. And he made his mistake, and I just kind of took my shot and just never looked back. But yeah, my sophomore year was a very rough year. Um, we played some top 25 teams, and we were trying to play out of the back, and that didn't go so well sometimes when we played Xavier, Kentucky, and that was a true eye opener for me. But it definitely got me ready. Like just as soon as you like play those higher quality players, you kind of want to like strive to like compete with them like every time. So my junior year, we started to get a little bit more success. We that's my year. We got 5 wins. Played pretty well as a team. We just couldn't put the goals together. And then my senior year, we ended up going 4-9-6, which is the weirdest record I've ever had in my whole life. Like we had 4 wins, 9 losses, and 6 ties. And I think 5 of those ties were 0-0 ties.
Oh wow.
We scored 10 goals all year. And we only let up, I think, 15 or 16. So it's great. We were a great defending team, but we just couldn't string things together going forward in the final third. But yeah, it kind of got me some exposure there just because I got a lot of the shots I needed. It's great for those smaller schools in Division One for goalkeepers. It looks like, because if you look at like all these leagues and people that are playing beyond college, it's for goalkeepers. It's the goalies that get a lot of shots. Obviously, you have those big time names that are winning national championships and they'll go on and get drafted. But a lot of the times it's these smaller goalies that will get their chance just because they've gotten the shots, they're hardworking, they know what it. Obviously, they might have lost, but they know what it is to bounce back from that. They know that persistence is like crazy from it, I think. And a lot of my buddies that I've kind of grown close to now in the leagues actually have come from those smaller schools. So it's pretty cool to see kind of that transition from the just college and in general to the professional level. So
Yeah, absolutely. It's again that no right or wrong pathway to get there.
yeah, that's for sure.
What were you doing during the summers of university years to stay in shape?
So during I started Bridges, I think my senior year of high school summer, and then every summer and winter I do Bridges. Come back summer, do Bridges. Come back from college in the winter, do Bridges. I didn't start doing MPSL or now USL2 until my senior year. But I always did Bridges, and it really got me kind of prepared for everything because obviously there was a very good level. But my junior year, I actually went on the Bridges trip during the summer, and we went to Denmark and played teams in Denmark and Sweden. And then my senior year was actually the weird year for me. So that was after my senior season. I kind of set up my classes to where I was able to take my second semester online so I can pursue soccer like just 100%. And I only had 3 electives,
Oh, wow.
and they were joke classes. So I mean, I got all my hard class. Like my senior year first semester was terrible. I took 4 coding classes
Oh.
in one semester, and it was the hardest, easy the hardest semester.
During
But
the sports season.
exactly. So it was tough. So my second semester was a breeze, but right after my senior season, I went to a combine in Michigan. I went to the Midwest Pro Combine. Um, I thought I did pretty well there. Obviously, it was my first true combine or tryout or whatever for a professional team. So the nerves were obviously there. But I thought I did pretty well, and it got me exposed to a couple trials, like invite trials. I went to, I think it was Pittsburgh. I went to St. Louis, and I also ended up going into preseason with the Timbers too. So as soon as January came around, I went over to Portland, Oregon, and I was there for the whole bit of preseason. I was there until the last day. Obviously, that was a huge eye opener. So the first couple of days, I did not fit in at all. It was rough because I came from a small school, and that was the best I've seen, you know.
Yeah.
And once you see this next level, you're like, oh crap! Like I gotta really step up my game here. So we well, I was there until the last day, and as the weeks went on, every week there was cuts. On Sunday, we stayed in a hotel, and every week on Sunday we'd be called in one-on-one with the coach, which is the most intimidating thing in the world. And he says whether you're staying or you're going. And I made it through. I think it was 5 rounds of cuts. I had 12 new roommates in the hotel that whole time I was there. Yeah, I had a roommate for a day, and he left. But yeah, so the last day they were just like, yeah, we like you, but we're gonna sign the guy that's been training with the first team and bring him down for games. He's like, we can leave you on, and you can just stay here, sign a $0 contract, or you can go back home and kind of do what you need to do. But I decided to go back. I went back to school actually and trained with my college for the time being because they just started up their spring season. But as being on a trial for more than 48 hours, I couldn't play in the games because obviously I was uneligible anymore to play in the spring season games. So I just trained with them and just traveled with them to the games. Just I wanted to play soccer. I just wanted to be around
Be
it.
around
So,
it. Yeah.
yeah. So I just wanted to be part of the team. So I did anything I could, whether it was warming up the goalies, whether it was anything I could do. Like I wanted to be around it. So after that, I actually I got a call from the uh, the head of the combine, which is Eric Redland, and he actually called me. He's like, "Listen, I coach for Ann Arbor, AFC Ann Arbor, in the NPSL. This was in April or May, and he's like, we have 2 goalies. One just had a season-ending injury with a broken wrist, and the other one just got a concussion. You want to come out?" And this was like, I graduate on Friday. Do you want to come out Saturday? We have a game on Sunday. I'm like, oh my gosh, like what? It's moving a little too fast. So obviously I was just like, I need a little time to think. So I was like, I took 24 hours, talked to my family at the time, and I was like, yeah, I'm all in. I'm like, let's do it. And I think that was the best thing I could have done, honestly. Went there on that Saturday, played on the Sunday, and I think we had a very successful season there. Obviously, we didn't make it to the national final or whatever it was, and we didn't win it. But we lost one or two games the whole NPSL season. We only let up 4 goals. I mean,
Oh,
that team
wow.
was unreal. Couple of like solid players that are playing in leagues all around the world now. I know one of our defenders is actually playing in England in the conference. One of them is playing actually in Sweden for Elfsborg. So I mean,
Okay. Yeah.
he just
Good
signed over there.
level.
I mean, yeah, I mean he's very very good. Let's just say that, and most humble guy in the world too, which is the coolest thing to see. That's the cool thing to see when you're at the next levels, is just to see those guys that don't have the egos, those guys that don't bring a lot of baggage to with them. Like, it's when you find a humble guy that it's just down to earth. It's cool to have those guys in your team. But after
100%.
that,
I just want to go back real quick. I have two thoughts. The first one was
yeah,
with the coach at Portland calling you guys in like that. That's like some sick version of The Bachelor. Like,
yeah. Either you got the rose or you don't.
yeah.
Like
So I feel like you can watch The Bachelor and like understand the pressure they feel standing up there.
yeah, it was
But
so scary.
the other thing was just I wanted to ask you when kind of did professional soccer not just be a dream but start to look like a reality? What part was it, in university at some point or what?
So obviously, it was always a dream of mine since I was a kid. But when I thought I truly had a chance was after that junior year in college. I didn't know how it was going to happen. I didn't know when it was going to happen, but I just wanted to know, like, I knew that I was going to do everything I could to try and get to the next level, whether it was go all the way across the world to play, which is something I ended up doing, or just sacrificing anything I could. My senior year, I was the lamest kid on the team. I didn't go to parties. I was training extra. I was doing anything I could to get to that next level. And I thought that was really when I sat down with my college coach at the time, and I was like, I really want to try and pursue this. And he's the one that actually kind of got me hooked up with the whole Portland gig, because he actually played for the Timbers back in the day. So I think it was my junior year, at the end of
Okay.
my junior year season. My sophomore year season, I was just like, oh crap, like I got to do a little reevaluating right now.
Yeah,
But
it
I think
usually
that,
goes hand in hand with a little bit of success that it starts to
yeah,
flip that, hey, this might actually be something. If I put in the work, I can get there.
yeah, exactly.
So you finish at Ann Arbor. You guys have a really good season there, and then what's your next step at that point?
So the stipulation I had with Rudland was the one thing I told him before I came. I was like, listen, I'd love to come, but I want to let you know now that I already committed to go to Denmark. I went back. I went for a second time on that trip, the Bridges trip. I went over to Denmark again. I was like, I just need to be. I'm gonna have to miss the playoffs, the NPSL playoffs, because I'm gonna be going overseas. So go, okay, that's fine, that's fine. Like, whatever you need to do. And he was very supportive about it. He could have easily said like, no, like, screw off or whatever,
Right. Yeah.
Like, but I mean, he was a great, unbelievable guy about it, and great coach about it as well. So after that Ann Arbor season, or after the playoffs started, I went over and I did the whole month with Bridges. We played the teams or whatever, and nothing came about, and I was scared. Last couple of days I was there, I was just like, what am I gonna do? Like, it was a weird season with or it was a weird trip with some things that went on that weren't supposed to go on that did, to say the least. But
Sounds like a normal Bridges trip then.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But actually, Reed, I don't know if he's still in this, but I reached out to him, and I was just like, he's like, dude, you want to come on my team? I'm like, he acted as my agent at the time because I didn't have an agent. And he's like, I can't promise you anything, but you can come, train, and kind of see what happens from there. And I was like, well, what do I do? Like, this is like a big decision for me right now, just because like I can either go home, possibly just do nothing for the next couple of weeks, months, just because no team, like everybody who has a team is like they're all solidified at this point.
Yeah, it's a dead season for
Yeah.
people not getting signed.
Yeah, or I can go there, kind of gain the experience I need to keep playing games, keep training, and that's ultimately what I decided to do. So I took the 12-hour train ride up through Sweden, and that was terrible. Almost got lost twice through the night. It was nice because I actually went with one of my teammates as well. A couple of us actually went up and from the Bridges trip and went to play with that team. But that was a weird experience to say the least. But it was a good one. We stayed in the village of 1,000 people, I think it was. So
wow.
everyone knew everybody.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, we are in the northern part of Sweden, so the nature's absolutely beautiful. So team was very successful. First 8 games after the break we were there, we had 8 clean sheets. And then little things just started to go wrong here and there, and we missed out on promotion by, I think, a point.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah. So it was a good experience for sure. Definitely a weird experience, and I would have never thought I'd be in the northern part of Sweden. But to be honest, I never thought I'd be in Hartford, Connecticut. So it's weird how things turn out. But after I came home, it was weird to get home as well. So I took that 12-hour train ride because my ticket was Jeff Roy actually. Said I was flying out of Denmark when we changed my ticket, so I had to fly to Copenhagen, Denmark. So I had to take that 12-hour train ride, and then we get there, and they say our flight is overbooked. Like, oh no, you're kidding. So, we're already getting hassled through the passport or the border control because we stayed an extra day, which was we didn't know.
You stayed 91 days?
We stayed 91 days, which was a very bad idea, apparently.
That's a big no-no.
But they're like, it's your lucky day, and didn't just let us through. And so they gave us like a bunch of like perks or whatever to go the next day. So we flew first class to Germany. We stayed in a nice hotel in downtown Copenhagen right the night before and had a nice candlelit dinner, me and one of my teammates. And
then you went back to go through the border, and they're like, "Oh, now it's 92 days. It's not your lucky day anymore."
I was like, we told him, I was like, if we leave the next day, you have to make sure that border control doesn't give us crap because we need to be out of the country. So thankfully they were all cool about it, but that was quite the trip to come home. And then I came home in like October. I think it was end of October or September, October. I don't know when it was. Came home, and obviously there's that little break I had, and in like November and December, I asked Eric Redland, who was the obviously the Ann Arbor coach and head of the Midwest Pro Combine. I was like, can I get back in this combine? Is it a possibility? I need to get more exposure because I want to play in the States. And he's like, usually I don't do this, but yeah, you can if this is truly what you need and like you think this is the right move, then for sure do it. And
even after deserting him in the playoffs.
Wow. Yeah, I guess so. But he's been so supportive. He's been so supportive. Yeah. Like, obviously, I still talk to him now. And I talk to him and I talk to the chairman still at Ann Arbor. It's an unbelievable organization. And, like, the people there. And, so he's like, yeah, come back. And just with the experience I had in Sweden and just, like, I think the experiences I had in all the trials and all, like, the preseasons, I thought I did very well there. And I was pretty happy with my play, and obviously, a couple of teams came calling, like, and it was just like invite trials, like come to invite trials, and it's just like, I can't come to all of them all the time. Like it's
Costs
sometimes it's
money.
kind of expensive, you know. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of crazy. So actually right before like mid-December, I I get a call from Hartford, and I was so confused at the time. They wanted me to. They were thinking about signing me, and since I didn't have an agent at the time, I swear they did a background check since I was like 14 years old. So they called all my coaches from like since I was 14. My goalie coach since I was 4. Stan Anderson, if you know him from Camp
Yeah.
Shutout.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, everyone knows him. I mean, my club coach, my college coach, everyone they called, and I was like making it through this next steps, the rounds or whatever, to be one of the final 3 goalies that they're going to choose, and then right before um, New Year's hit, I think I signed with them, and then I had the choice to either, and then the next day I got an offer from Madison, which was weird because for a solid 3.5 weeks I had no like calls or no contacts, and it's a weird kind of situation to be in because you're playing the waiting game. You still have to be fit. You still have to like make sure you're ready for anything, but you're just like, no one wants me right now. But it's like literally the hour after I signed and executed my contract for Hartford, I got a offer for to play at Madison. It was weird. So it's like once something comes, it comes in like bundles, you know?
I'll tell you, I feel like football contracts are similar to like dating in middle or high school. It's like silence for months. The week before prom, all of a sudden, there's 3 people that want you to ask them. Then it goes radio silence for another month.
Yeah. It's so weird playing that waiting game, and like you don't know how to like to go through it until you actually go through it. It's
It's
weird.
mentally exhausting.
Yeah. And like there were times when I was just like, am I gonna have to like stop playing soccer? Is this like gonna have to be a thing? I don't ever want to like have that like thought in my head. But I was getting really worried. And but yeah, it all seemed to work out. As soon as I went to some bad family troubles right before I left for Hartford, which kind of made the celebration of signing kind of crappy. My dad passed that January, and literally 2 days after the funeral, I had to go to preseason. So it was, I was out of it. Like it was like the weirdest thing I've ever had to um, kind of like experience. But my coach at the time was so supportive of everything. He's like,
Yeah.
if you ever need to go home, like you get your butt on the plane, like we'll do anything you can do, like to get home. Like if you need to see your family, like anything, like go home. And so like we had like an unreal coaching staff that was just so supportive on everything. And then obviously the players, and it was pretty weird to say, but like at this level, we didn't have any egos on the team last year, and we don't have any this year. It's pretty uncommon to say that at the professional level.
Very unique.
Yeah, and when you have guys that are as selfless as that, but I mean, like they're all so supportive of everything, and because it was a really rough, I think it was 6 or 7 months, because right when I came home from Sweden, that's when I found out he had cancer. So it was like, hey, I'm back home. By the way, like, yeah, like this happened. So I mean, it was
Puts the sport into perspective a little bit.
exactly. So it was definitely a weird time, but I definitely had a good group around me that kind of pulled me through it, and I'm kind of glad I was playing soccer at the time, because if I was at home, I mean, I'd be overthinking everything, you know, like what could I have done, like everything, you know, like is why did this happen? Why did this have to happen to our family? Like
Yeah.
all those things, and I'm glad
Almost can use the field as like an
once you
escape from
step on the
that
field,
for
it's just yeah, it's you can kind of forget about everything for a little while, and that was the best thing. So I think that was the best thing for me, was to kind of get into playing right away, because it kind of made me um, cope with it a little better. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, and even like the whole organization was so supportive of it. Like, I know, like when Father's Day came around, and we actually played a home game on that day, and they made like these armbands, and the
Oh,
whole
wow.
team wore armbands with his initials,
Oh, that's
and it was
awesome.
like the greatest. Like, I don't know, it was. I could have never expected anything like that to happen before. So
That's incredible.
yeah, yeah, crazy first year though,
Yeah.
as a true professional. So yeah.
Jeez, yeah. That's a lot, and that's hard. I feel like too, as a goalkeeper, it's a very mental position. Standing
Hmm.
between the sticks already. So then to have all of that, which is just, such a terrible and hard thing to go through. It it's good that, obviously the season went well, but that's not the biggest concern at that time. The biggest concern
Exactly,
is
exactly.
dealing with it, coping with it. Um, what was your experience then? Like, obviously the team's supportive of it, but you're away from family. You're kind of on your own, trying to maneuver something that most players on your team probably hadn't experienced yet. And so
Hmm.
I'm sure at times feel like you're a little bit on an island almost.
Yeah. So being away definitely is a hard thing. I do like that I'm not a 7 hour time difference as I was like when I was in Sweden, because that was so hard to get used to. Because when you're waking up, they're going to bed. Like, it's just like, or vice versa. And so it was nice only being an hour difference apart. So whenever I needed to call somebody, I could. Um, because obviously I was calling my mom every day, almost every day, and I was just like, "Hey, how you doing? Like, everything is going well?" And just talk about like life and stuff like that. And had many conversations with my girlfriend at the time, like multiple calls a day, just to try and keep me thinking about different things. And yeah, I mean, the nice thing was like I never truly felt lonely when I was here, which is a good thing, because I had I lived in a house with three other guys last year, and we were all very close. So whenever I was starting to feel like oh, something, like I might go down like a little bit, like right now, like my mood's changing a little bit right now, I just go and hang out with them, and then try and like keep myself busy. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's just like keeping yourself busy. Even now during like this time, it's just keeping yourself busy, like trying to control what you can control. Like, you can't make this pandemic go away, but can you take advantage of it? Like,
Mm-hmm.
can you do it to your best advantage, and can you come out
100%.
with it stronger? So, um, yeah, I mean, definitely a weird time, but I always had a good core around me, which definitely made me stronger. So,
Yeah. Yeah. No, it sounds like the community and the teammates and coaching staff and all really were a good fit and ended up,
mhm.
maybe being, not saying anything bad against Forward Madison or something, but it seems like it was a good fit, not just for the soccer on the field, but also a good fit in the relationships.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I think because I had some buddies that played on the Madison team last year. Either way, I think I couldn't have made a bad choice. But I'm glad I made my choice with Hartford. Unreal community here, great fan base, and my goalie coach here like is excelled me like through the roof. So I mean, like, I've grown so much since I've been here, and because he's been here for he was here last year as well. So I mean, being with him has just been great for my progression as a goalkeeper too. So I mean, I'm glad I made this decision, and just never looking back.
Yeah, and I feel like with goalie coaches, the ability to have one for multiple years is so
Huge,
beneficial.
huge.
A field player, you get a new assistant all the time and whatever. It's not, there's some changes obviously when a head coach changes, sure, tactics and all, but with the goalie coach, I feel like there's so many little intricacies of goalkeeping and just like understanding the person you're coaching and you can pick up on so many things and all. I think it's so beneficial to be able to train under the same coach multiple
Well, every
years.
goalkeeper coach is different, it seems like. So, like they all have their little tweaks and how they want to do it. So it's like when you have one that you can stick to, you know what he wants out of you. You know he wants you to get better. That's his biggest thing. Like every single day. Like we never, like some days, like in the, I know last year, I only played in like a couple friendlies last year. I wasn't the main guy. So like the days after games when they were just doing their recovery and stuff like that, me, the other goalie, and the other goalie, we got after it. Like
Yeah.
we never really had like a slow day. It was like those days were our hardest days because he could kick the crap out of us for about 2 hours. So I mean,
It was the
that
best
was
of
the
times. It was the worst of times.
it's the worst, but it's also like the most beneficial, you know, because you
Yeah.
get the most out of it. So I don't know. I really like him, and I'm glad he's here, man. Like it's definitely a blessing. So
We got a question. Any good goalie training sites? Do you use any sites you use to get just different training ideas or anything when you're in the off
definitely
season?
during this time, doing like little. It's hard to do a bunch of goalie stuff by yourself, like training. But I know the glove company that I'm sponsored by actually they have Instagram videos online every single day, and it's John Bush, who's obviously one of the best American goalkeepers to play in the MLS and obviously the USL as well. But every day he comes out with new training videos on stuff you can do by yourself.
Oh,
So it's
nice.
little stuff to keep your mind going, keep your technique kind of sharp while you're away by yourself. So I mean, it's tough right now just because like you can't go out in a group of 10 guys and go do a shooting drill or a crossing drill.
Yeah.
Or else you're kicked off the pitch. Trust me, I've tried. Okay, but
Yeah,
like
you're not getting that live fire the same.
no, but it's like I think now the biggest thing is just finding the little things you need to work on. Whether it's like the biggest thing I've been working on right now has been my weak foot. Um, my right foot is obviously not nowhere near as good as my left, but this time I've definitely been like stressing. It's just like get touches, just find a wall, do something like, um, and obviously just trying to keep the other things sharp so I don't come back and have the ball hit my face instead of my hands, you know. So
That's always just I feel like a good rule if you can as a goalie to use your hands
yeah,
instead of your face.
as long as it's not going to the goal, you know.
That's the truth. At the end of the day, I guess. So some questions I want to know. A fun one that we ask guys that train at Bridges is Bridges. In the indoor, you play five-a-side plus a goalkeeper. Do you have your ultimate five-a-side team without including MLS players into it?
Without MLS players. Um, let's see. In
And
goal,
it's
probably
weird as a goalie. You can, if you want, put yourself
no.
if you so desire. But
I think the best goal I've trained with there has been Jeff Gall.
yeah,
Great guy, and he's a unbelievably humble guy. I like him a lot.
no
So,
ego.
in goal, I'd probably go Jeff. Gotta go Reed. Because you know he's gonna work his butt off, and he'll give you some jokes while he's playing too. So, probably Reed. X. Gotta be X. Probably I'll put Kaz in there as well, and then I'll put probably Abador.
You got one more striker, maybe.
Striker, gotta be Woj.
Oh,
Gotta be Woj. Yeah,
all right, that's
I
a
played
good
with him
team.
last year, so I got really close with Woj, and he's one of my buddies. Gotta put him up top.
You saved a lot of his shots on you, huh?
I tried to.
Tried to.
Not always.
So you've gone. Obviously, we said before in this a unique way to professional soccer. It's not the maybe the most typical, but again, there's no such thing as a normal way to the professional leagues in a sense. Looking back on it, going back to maybe 15-year-old you, deciding to leave your your amazing club that did so much to you, and going to Campton and all, and stabbing your team in the back. But
Wow.
what kind of advice would you give yourself that would be to you the most beneficial at that time?
I would say the biggest thing probably for me is like, don't get sucked into the little things. I know you got to, however far you want to go, you got to sacrifice that much. So whether you want to get to the college level, you got to sacrifice a little bit. Whether you want to get to play on a solid MPSL team or USL2 team, you got to sacrifice more. You got to sacrifice more. You got to do things that people aren't doing to put you above the group. And then if your goal is to make it to the professional level, you're gonna have to sacrifice a lot of things. And I think if I would have known that when I was 15, 16, I don't know. Like I obviously I don't have any regrets, but you want to see where it goes, because I obviously didn't have that mindset probably until probably my junior year in college when I wanted to go and play at the professional level. I was like, I asked my coach, I'm like, what can I do? What can I do to make it to this next level? And it's hours and hours of things you can do, like with the ball and just putting in the time and not going to parties. You don't need to be Mr. Big Shot at the parties. Like I never was. So I mean, I think the biggest thing is sacrifice. The sooner you learn that, I think the more successful you're going to be. So
the short term pain for long term gain.
exactly. It's gonna, obviously you're gonna like sometimes like be like, oh man, I wish I was there or something like that after it was gone or something like that. But ultimately, if this is what you truly want to do and you want to play soccer and you want to make it to that next level, like you got to have that mindset. I got to do whatever it takes. So
I think a lot of younger players have I like the fun ideas of what being a professional soccer player means, and don't realize or appreciate what it actually means to be a professional soccer player, and how much of just a grind it is mentally and physically, day in and day out for years.
Mm-hmm. Well, you get those guys that are just like, well, in college, you play against those guys, or just like, yeah, I'm gonna go pro. Yeah, I'm gonna go pro. Like, what are you gonna do after college? I'm gonna go pro. It's just like, oh, it's tough, man. Like, it's not as easy as it sounds.
I think my favorite is I have the skill to be a professional player. It's just that I want, and it's like the skill part is like the easiest part in my mind.
Yeah, it's that mental barrier, and they'll try and break you down. So yeah, I mean, it definitely dwindles down every year. It's just like freshman year, everyone, sophomore year, a couple more people are like, yeah, no, maybe it's not for me. Junior year, it's like, oh crap, like this is like, I don't know, but
oh yeah, freshman year you got at least 8 guys that are like, oh yeah, professional soccer.
Going pro, yeah.
It's so true. As a goalie, we talked about the mental side of it and all, and being, and I would use the word kind of fearless in goal to be a good goalie. How did you learn that mental aspect of being a goalie?
I think just getting hit in the face multiple times with the ball. Like the first ball you get hit in the face with is probably like gonna be the worst one. But I think that's one of my strengths actually, is like I'm a very aggressive goalkeeper to where like I'll focus more on like my bravery on breakaways, and like I'll get hit in the face, I'll get hit in any part of the body as long as it doesn't go in the back of the net. I don't care. If I'm on the ground rolling around after because I get hit in a certain area, like, and it stops a goal, I'm all for it. Like I'll do whatever it takes. And I think it's just like a repetition, as bad as it sounds, of just like kind of getting that bravery of building that up, of just get hit in the face, getting rocked in the stomach on a when you're exiting out for a ball. I know at ODP one of our drills was lay on your side like in a diving position and flex your stomach, and a guy's gonna have a ball about 6 inches away from you, and he's gonna shoot the ball 30 times into your stomach. So I think it's just like kind of overcoming that mental barrier, because once you overcome it, like I think the best goalkeepers are the ones that are fearless or willing to do whatever it takes to keep that ball to the back of the net. So going into a tackle, like when you know you're going to get clattered probably, but you're making the save. I think that's the biggest thing. That mental barrier.
We might have had the same coach because we had one. As a defender, we had to stand on the goal line, and everyone was on the penalty spot with the ball, and you had to block without using your hands. You tried to just rip it off your head. But as you said, like the first couple are pretty bad, but after a while, you're like, all right, it's gonna hurt for a second. Yeah. Now, probably long term, there's some effect.
Oh, probably, yeah.
But
we don't want to think about that right now.
You build up that bravery almost to realize.
I feel like last year I probably got hit in the face at least once a week, like with a breakaway shot. But I made the save, got over it. Like some of them, I got hit in the neck last year. One of my roommates now, actually, that was terrible. So it was a 1v1, and he has a quick like toe ball and like I don't know how he had this much power in the ball. Hits me right on my Adam's apple, and I went down. And I was like struggling to get up.
Brutal.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like after that 15-minute period of me rolling around on the ground, I mean, I was back in practice. But that mental barrier is the biggest thing, I think.
Were you yelling as much the rest of that training?
No, I was silent.
You were just doing the hands.
Yeah, go over there. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, I had some bad ones last year.
The joys of being a goalkeeper. That's why I mean, that's why you gotta be a little crazy to stand there.
Yeah, not everyone can do it, you know.
Listen, we as field players always make fun and tease the goalies, but none of us want to stand there
until you actually go in the goal and take the shots.
Yeah, even just like you watch like a goalie and you're shooting from outside the 18. Like, oh man, why didn't he save that? Like, come on. Then you stand there and you're like, oh gosh, this is a lot harder. Jeez. Yeah. But I appreciate you coming on, sharing your stories, sharing the positive, sharing some of the harder moments. I appreciate. I think for younger players especially, it's good to see it's not all sunshine and rainbows at times. But I do like the fact too that during an extremely difficult time, your teammate and coaches were there for you almost like a second family. And I think that's probably at least for me and to a lot of players I've talked to, like one of the driving forces of why we liked playing the sport so much is that fact that you build that brotherhood in the locker room.
100%, yeah.
So thank you for taking your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was fun, man. Fun.
Excited to see you out on the field blocking more shots with your face.
Yeah, definitely.
You need someone to like punch you in the face or something right now since it's been so long. It's like
I haven't gotten any of this. I'm kind of having some withdrawals, You got
to ask one of your teammates just every morning when you wake up to smack you across the face to kind of get you in that mode.
Yeah, definitely. I'll make sure to get on that one.
All right, man. Thank you. Take care.
All right, appreciate it. Have a good one. All right.
See ya. Bye.